Right, we're back. I know for a fact that I'm working on Steam. Yes, yes, good. That was a point of contention last time. Or at one point, I had considered it in the city and then didn't do it, and then forgot that I had decided not to. That was fun to deal with. Oh, so fun. Hmm. Oh, can you even... Just the deep Center for Whale Studies. Okay, so you can do the Center for Whale Studies, but it's not popping up in any cities, so I presume that I can't build anymore. At least not for the time being. Number. Okay, so you've built your ancient customs, but that doesn't mean I'm going to build much of the tannery. I do need to build the trading post, though. It's necessary for a lot of things, including the engineering school. And the engineering school is just too good to pass up. So I'm going to win on the tannery, though, because factory leather is something that will come up, and it's of some importance that I, well, manage to put it to good use. So I might as well talk a bit more about the drawing time lapse because, um, yeah, I mentioned last time that I did end up doing the drawing time lapse right before the previous session. It's a while later, and I've put off finding the music for it, but I found it now. It's the aptly named Epic Medieval Theme 1 in the C2C specific music folder. I had to take a look around in the other stuff, but none of it fit what I wanted it to do, so. Okay, at the antique shop. Well, okay, the farm supply is better than the antique shop. That's pretty obvious. And it's better than any other option, really. So, the candle maker shop. I figure. It's close, but it's not close enough. Oh, lead smelter. Imperial Fortress. It's not super duper important that I get the absolute most efficiency out of everything. It really isn't. It really, really isn't. I can save more for later because Steampunk's going to come online at some point, and that will adjust the calculations. That's the simplest way to put it. Because then we get a 9 production building, and a 6 production building, and a 3 production building. 9 production's quite a bit. That's for sure. Parking garage, truck shipping warehouse, motorsports will come on in before that queue is finished. Chariot workshop, athletics department. You can skip the mathematics department. But we're definitely doing that Golem Gate Bridge. Free large steel arch bridge in every city. Yeah. That's a lot. Shoot, what died? The Manta. Okay, it's just the Manta Ray. I had already sent a unit over to that city in order to build the Marine Institute anyway, so it's not actually a problem. Well, that happened. It's unhelpful, yes. But I can live with it happening. Okay, now you need to handle this tile to build the mountain mine. Okay, head over here and deal with that tile. It's a bit weird how we have jungle down here as well. Safe games. Like, this is directly south of a taiga. In the southern hemisphere, too. Don't ask me how that occurred. Oh, that's a fossil dig site. Okay, fine. Fine. Take up the fossils. This is some cheap mines. But the clockwork shop is cheaper. As is the Imperial Fortress. And the antique shop, even if that one's a bit closer. Okay, now you can handle these. Ah, forgot about the coffee shop, the Pine Timber Grove, and the lumber mill. At these steel smelters. Shop, you. I do feel like I'm missing something. Just let it go through those buildings. No need to overanalyze. My head can only do so much at once. Handle so much at once. I feel like there should be more. No, there's not very many production factories. That's right. You. But I need to build these first. Oh, there's a rope factory? Why don't I see it? Oh, that requires plastics. That's atomic error. Okay, I can understand why that hasn't appeared yet. Okay, there's quite a few of these. Surveyor's office can be turned to the construction firm, so not building that. I wish the range assault would increase in size. In range. Really, is what I mean. Wait. Oh. Just the calculus once again. Foundry, farm supply. It's gonna take too long for that to appear. By the time it's done with the university, which is what is needed in order to unlock the Marine Institute. Yeah. I really didn't talk much about the drawing time lapse, did I? Admittedly, I'm treading over old ground, and it's been a few days since the last recording sessions, so I'm not 100% certain what I talked about. So I'm afraid of treading on old ground again. Which is something that could very much happen. Okay, you need a... Yeah, you have a lot of production needs. So let me get you through these. Yeah? But requires modern granary. Okay. Right, you need the modern granary. Oh, the city hasn't built the modern offices yet. Shouldn't the modern granary be around here? Oh, you also need the seawalls too, don't you? There's the modern granary. There. With that, I should be able to build the construction firm, which should be helpful in dealing with a lot of things. There we go. Just rush through that. Clickety clack. I don't really need salt or borax. And there's no upgrade available for that salt gallery. Yeah. Okay, salt or natron. What's the difference? Actually, I'm not sure. You want terracotta army. And aborigine culture. Give me more access to hero units. Although I did build cultures previously, so...
Second place is just the first loser.
Now that's the hyper-competitive instinct we need. Don't worry, I'll work the tile. I don't know why you're sitting here. Exactly. That's what happened. That set of workers. Okay. Right, you're good for now. Honolulu. At least on that front. Nothing amazingly interesting food-wise. I could use some science. The theater. Do I go for that? The Chinese theater. That's 37 turns, and the capital has better things to do. Okay. I will go for the school stuff right now. Or basically the direct science increasing stuff. Except for that Marine Institute, that is one science in 8 turns. That's not actually that worth it. And then continue the inevitable oh, that's a bulldozer. The inevitable expansion into Neonesia. Of course, the sheer amount of turns required to build all those science buildings means that I probably won't see this until the end of the session. There's the Pioneer. Okay. But that's fine. Parking garage. Really nothing more to it for the moment. Let me get through some of the easier stuff. Do have the modern offices. It looks like it. Okay. Where's the modern granary? Oh, you never built the seawalls. Okay. You do not build that bridge. I know better than to build that bridge. It's a lot of water tiles, and the city hasn't built the seawalls yet, so... And there's the modern offices, and I'm grabbing the modern granary too, so I don't forget about it. Parking garage and upgrade to asphalt roads. Modern offices have not been built, so I presume the modern granary hasn't been either. Yep, there it is. Well, resolved. Okay. There's that construction firm. Neat. Okay. Parking lot. Bicycles. Yeah, let's just breeze on through. Grab all the 3 costs. 3 production buildings. Okay, grab you. And beyond that, I'm not willing to push it any further because efficiency concerns surrounding how do I put this? Steampunk buildings. Right. I'm gonna wait until the engineering school's done before I make further decisions because that city's gonna have more population by then and hopefully some actually improved terrain. And I'm setting up another city. Okay, let's get you mining this. Platinum. Oh, that's gonna be fun, the lumber mill. That risen. Trainer horse. And potato chips. I'll handle anything further in a bit, I guess. Hopefully. Yeah, let's send you over here. What's with the slowdown? Oh, prime timber. Okay. Yeah, okay, fine. I'll build a hydroelectric dam here. Alright, time to start. Yeah, this mountain. It's a bit annoying that this fine clay over here is out of reach when you see. Although, on the other hand, quarries aren't great, so... Unsurprised. We are, after all, extremely progressive. And take anyone willing to come. Are the modern offices built here? Looks like... Granary too. Oh, modern mill it is. Grab these. Oh, and the animal trainer horse. Wait, that's not a city, that's a captured outpost. That the barbs have been sitting on, because, something automatically built these, and yeah. And then barbs walked onto the tile. But that's nothing unusual. Happens all the time. Okay, food-wise, fine. Yeah, sure, press of agency is a pretty good idea. I'm leery about putting too much on that. And lumber mill. I don't need commando on you, so I guess, I mean, I need heal animals even less. I mean, I probably don't need heal animals, but use enemy roads on that unit. Something would have to go catastrophically wrong for that to be necessary, so yeah. Oh, that town. Yeah, okay, so up in the north there's still some roads left on Ethiopia. I thought I heard something strange outside, but I guess not. Parking garage. And no, you've already built that. Okay. But have you built? It looks like you already built that too. Huh. Wow. Okay. Man, I feel somewhat undercut by my own genius. No. Okay. That. But have you built the... Looks like you did. Good. Food? Oh, wow, that's a lot. Yeah, you haven't had the time to... Falconer, okay. That's a lot of one-turn food buildings. Is there a community garden here? No. Okay, ignored. Wait. Oh, I have to be careful. So I know that something here. Sausage, cheese. Fine. No. Okay. Fix the modern mill. Requires a modern garden. Didn't I? No. Okay. There. Alright, what next? I guess more? Or you could do that.
age of art ended at Impressionism.
I mean, that's the trajectory of painting. Once you have photography, realism stopped being nearly as important. And, well, you can kind of guess what ended up happening next. Stuff slowly got more abstract, and then eventually jumped to maximum levels of abstraction, and then tried to find a healthy middle ground, and incorporate photography too. Meatpacking plant actually gets me less than the butchery. Okay, that's a bit odd. Right, I guess that means science buildings? Jewish monastery, dig sites. Skip the theater. Oh, and so I can build a vaccine lab. It would be a good idea to get that hospital. Should be enough for now. Okay, modern office. Yes. There's a modern granary. And let me just grab these. Cheap and easy to obtain, and horse trainer as well. Ah, so he was getting Confucianism. Already then. Good for you, I guess. Oh yes, and just for everyone's information, the Wonder animations, um, Founding Religions gets similar animations. Just so that everyone's aware. Modern offices as well. Has the modern granary been already built? It looks like it. And I think the modern mill might have been built already. No. Do I? Nah. Okay. Engineering school. It's obvious that it's a really good choice. Okay, clay pit, hematite gather. Anything more is where it starts getting questionable. Guild hall? Yeah. Yeah, I'm not the most happy about it. No. Factory. And in theory, I should actually build this before these, but no. That's fine by me. I don't really care about those. I don't know. Road? Yes, okay. Good to know. The city was covering up any possibility of me figuring that out just by looking at it, so... Yeah, might as well mine the tile. No city can use it, but it has a slight chance of finding something. Something helpful. There's no reason for me to do anything with the tile, so. Really no point. Ooh! Giant squid. I just need to find a city that can accept a center of cephalopod studies. This might take a while. Try. This is absolutely not something that I memorize. Okay, there it goes. Ooh, is that cool? I think so. Sorry about that. Oh, nice. It's doing this without lagging. I was afraid there would be some lag issues, considering how it stuttered at the start with the last one. But with that, I get a free broadcast hour in every city. Considering what the broadcast tower does, plus 1% culture and 4 happiness. Yeah, that's gonna help. Help quite a bit. Papyrus. It really doesn't matter what I have here. Okay, let's see here. Yep, that's already built. Nice. There's that modern mill. Okay. Let's get through all the cheap stuff. You and you. I want to wait on Steampunk to finish. That marble quarry looks very, very cheap from over here. Funerary services. I'll, Subway? Sure. Industrial Park, then the subway station. And then I start going through these one at a time. Joy. Okay, that might be overdoing it a bit, but it'll be fine. Don't have to worry about the city for the rest of the session, probably, unless I can belt out 50 turns in half an hour. That would be mildly miraculous, so I'm going to assume that won't happen. Even if I get through a lot of turns fairly quickly. Because there's just way too many limiters. Limits, limiters, whatever. However, the idea is best expressed. You know what? I think I might build a wonder in this city. Yeah. Let's get Gotham's first wonder. Okay. You need that factory farm. That 50 production is not something that can be ignored for too long. But the assembly plant comes first because of its high production quantity, because plus 60% is, it's always a lot, and that can never be denied. Beyond that is where it starts to get questionable enough for me to back off for a moment. Yeah, I'll take that plus 13 production, thank you very much. And some commerce, but that's not the number that's important. Or at least it tends not to seem like it. Anyway, one of the really fascinating things about the Terracotta Army is that apparently all the sculptures are unique. Like, all of them. All of them look very realistic. And they're all unique individuals. Or at least unique enough to be distinguishable. Oh. Show your extra production signs. See? Yeah, these barren tiles don't really have much going for them. Best I can do is append stuff. What to do with you, what to do with you. You done your science stuff? No, okay. Get that animal trainer horse, and you, what to do with you. Yeah, I guess railroads. There really isn't much of a better option, is there? And there go a bunch of birds. Truly, piss. Construction firm. That's faster though. You. This, that. Skip that. These. Should be fine. Presumably. I kinda hope. Well, I might as well build this for free then. No real reason not to. And farm.
Man screams from the depths of his soul. The whole era becomes a single piercing shriek. Art also screams into the deep darkness. Screams for help. Screams for the spirit. This is expressionism.
10% faster construction of modern offices in all cities. Tile is still outside of reach despite being technically within this city's potential reach. Ah, lovely. That should be the last railroad I need to build on Ethiopia. It's just a bear. How bad can it be? Yeah. Yeah, I think the island's good for now. I think Byzantium is something that I can ignore for a little while. Construction firm, chariot workshop, IQ testing center. And maybe get also the whole bunch of cheap food buildings right here. There we go. Because if it's exceptionally cheap, I may as well build it. At that point, there really is no good reason not to. Let's look at that horse trainer. Especially since steampunk is coming any minute now, really. Last period, really. Let's get these through. Okay. Oh, you need the modern offices too. Okay. I need to remember to check that. At least in cities where I'm not right now building the construction for. Because that at least confirms that it's already been built. As that I don't need to build it. I wonder. You know, the topic certainly came up in my mind, but I'm not sure if there's enough time to talk about it. Yeah. I can try. Let's see. I mean, I kind of get, and I kind of also don't get the idea that you should keep politics out of entertainment or whatnot. I mean, to some degree, I get it. Some people have weird opinions, and I include myself on that list sometimes. And politics is a very easy way to get people debating. Now, I think debate is great and all. It's fun to argue with people. Which apparently is a fairly uncommon opinion where I'm from. Ooh, okay. Right, the theater is here. This gets me a free movie theater in every city. And also an artist and celebrity slot in Goth, but that's not the important aspect. The important aspect is the free building. I want that animal trainer horse. Oh, and Steampunk's done. Steampunk is finished. Which means I need to go back to Goth. There you are. I probably should build the steampunk buildings first. Not the large bridge. Definitely not the large bridge. Alright, steampunk buildings are treated like religious buildings are. So those are going to be fun. But yeah, these produce a lot of production. Which can seriously help in dealing with various other aspects that need to be worked on. I guess you can build the fine stoneware carver too. I mean, No one's built it yet, so I may as... And does Hati have Middle Eastern culture? Well, I better build it before they can. Yeah, I mean, the Hittites were in Asia Minor, so they probably count as Middle Eastern. Yeah, almost certainly. Okay. So many spiders. Lumber mill. I mean, the biggest issue with the dynamos is how much sickness they cause. That's not really a problem. Not truly, so. It can be worked around. And should it actually become a problem, I can fix it. Yeah, steampunk buildings are even cheaper than the parking lot, so it fairly obviously helps a lot. Yeah, it's just a pretty cheap building in general. Where did that traction engine workshop go? Or is it not buildable yet? No, it's not. It requires the size of at least 7. Oh. Kind of like the guild hall requires a forge, foundry, forge. Yeah, assembly plant easily produces enough production to outpace everything else that's possible. Let's build a foundry next. Yeah, the guild hall still outpaces the university, so I'm not pushing it any harder. Industrial farms after, sure. Yeah. Because nothing's going to outpace the industrial farms. Nothing else, anyway. It's actually outside the reach of the city, so there's not enough of a reason to work on that. There we go. Center for Cephalopod Studies. Alright, time to deal with the new production buildings. You, and you. Okay. Nice and fast and easy, and I may need to do that city again this session. Yeah, I'm just gonna skip the politics talk for next time. Sure. Because I started it and then cut myself off from multiple times over, and yeah, I cannot talk about it in 10 minutes, so. Yeah, this will be a less talky session. Quieter. I think that is it with railroads for this continent, island. I'm not sure if this one's big. I'm not sure which is bigger in Tile County, Ethiopia or Byzantinia. Because there's arguments to be made for both. Before counting, actual counting is done. I'm not sure I want to actually count that. Since that uses a precious time to click at this, tails button. Oh my, how many have been subdued this time? It's a random desert. There's far better tiles to deal with. I can focus on dealing with right now.
Careful as a naked man climbing a barbed wire fence.
The strangest of idioms. The strangest of idioms. I mean, it makes logical sense, but why would anyone ever go down that line of thinking? Why? Why? Although it is funny that barbed wire is required to research international diplomacy. Tech requirements can be very, very funny in odd ways. Okay, I definitely need to start working on that tile. Okay, now I can head over to here in order to start actually working on it. Snake charmer, nothing better to do with the tile. Truck shipping warehouse, okay, you, and you. You could build the dynamos, but I believe you already have power. Absolutely, okay. I'm not 100% sure why I checked that, but at least I know for sure. Okay, you go first. It's not you, though. You take too long. I want to be certain that you're faster than the factory. Which for the moment you are. By the time the factory is actually built, that probably will no longer be true now, will it? Factory's still faster than the levy. Presumably. Not actually sure how accurate it is. The ones that upgrade tiles tend to be a bit inconsistent over how much they're telling the truth. If they did tell the truth all the time, then I would not need to remind myself to build seawalls, that's for sure. They would get built every time. And yet the fact that they don't indicates that to some degree I don't trust it. Or maybe better put, I shouldn't trust it. And therefore I don't trust it to some degree. Chariot Workshop is simply not good enough. You come right after the Traction Workshop. You just barely make the cut, and you also just barely make the cut. Let's do it in that order. Sure. Traction Workshop is fairly cheap for what it does. Then again, Steam Pump actually is researched fairly early. It's only been... It's just that I haven't gotten to actually building it until now. The culture necessary, since it technically is like a wonder. I believe its actual specification is uh, player project. Supposedly, you should be able to share player projects between cities, but it's very, very finicky and doesn't like to work like that. Team projects are actually kind of similar, except that anyone on the team, which is a concept in Civ 4, yes. Can build it, but there tends to be issues. And yes, I am building everything, because by this point, I believe I can actually trust that new buildings will not be unlocked by the time the queue finishes. At least a shorter queue. Yep. Large steel arch bridge in every city. Plus an extra trade route and trade route yield for Hangaroa. But I greatly appreciate the very powerful bridge in every city that can actually use one. The ones that aren't adjacent to rivers, well, yeah. Okay. Is there free effect Disneyland in every city? Bolshoi Theater. Fine. Fine. I'll push Big Theater. Well, okay, that was an island, so it's not surprising that I was missing at least one of the enclosures. So I can't exactly share among cities like that. Well, not easily, that's for sure. Okay, you've built your roads, railroads. I can... That tile's workable. Why haven't I improved it? Okay, that's at least reasonably close to have a military cactus, but it's mildly concerning that it was there in that spot. Oh shoot, not this again. Got a boat around here somewhere, I know that. Please don't tell me this is the only one. Shoot. Well, get down here fast. And perhaps I should not have used all the movement points so I could upgrade you as well. That would have been a nice thing to have. Also, I probably should adjust your building queue in order to deal with those first. Oh yeah, the municipal computing machine is also a thing. You, and you. I'll take a few more turns, and I probably won't get to the Pioneer today. Sadly. But, well, sacrifices must be made. I can't have everything. So yes, it's another turn without a city. Turn. Session. Yeah, I am struggling to hit 50 turns a session. Which is not a good sign because, 200,000 50 turns is a quarter of a percent. Okay, so I can't actually upgrade you anyway, so it's not a big deal. You have Sea Hunter 4, so you can bombard and then attack. And then hide here in order to become a bit less... Okay, I need to figure out where that frigate is at. The Iron Frigate. Oh no. Military advisor. Okay, domestic city. Domestic territory. Over there. Okay. You're very, very far away, but I would like for you to help with this. If you can get here in time. 2 turns is reasonable. Okay. Head here. It's a good staging point for anything I may need to do in the future. Yeah, parent tiles are just not that helpful. They don't have any base yield, so... The only good thing, and they can't actually take much in the way of improvements when they're flatlands. So in the end, the only thing I can get out of it is, quite simply, the factory. I can get out of a factory. At least it doesn't lower the food production because there's no food production to lower. Woohoo! Resin growth first. No, assembly plant first. The resin growth, there's just no way. Yeah. And then the industrial farms, because I don't think anything else can actually keep up with it. Not even the traction engine? No. Industrial farms are ludicrously helpful. They're insanely productive. You do your thing. Mine, yeah. It's not worth the 2 commerce. I'll finish up when Lawn Sports is finished up. Jeez, that's a frigate. Yeah, I can't exactly waste much time, so... Shoot! That burned a turn unnecessarily. I'm gonna do a bit of animal farming and head back into the city to be safe. Last thing I need is to actively lose a ship. Especially one that took training to get. Anyway, you have Rolling Thunder 3, which gives me plus 30% range accuracy and plus 60% damage. And also plus 45% damage limit. Also plus 25% to everything because of Let Storm, so... I expected more out of that. But hey, you've got enough. You've got enough beefiness to handle it, I guess. Now construct the business school. Yeah, the Iron Frigate should be able to handle it.
I have a tip that can take 5 strokes off anyone's golf game. It is called an eraser.
I mean, is it really cheating if it's a single-player game that you're playing by yourself? Maybe. Yikes. Manganese. Neat. And diamonds. Just randomly found diamonds. Yeah, you don't just discover resources like that in the later set of games. They have always been there. Because yes, these do actually spawn in Civ 4. They weren't there before, but they are now. Thankfully, it seems that they haven't actually... They may have pillaged the fishing boats here, but beyond that, it doesn't seem to have actually been anything troublesome. Thankfully. Okay, I'll handle the city queues and then call it. But yeah, with any game, you set the rules yourself. At least if it's a single player game, and even if it isn't, You can always talk to other people and make rule adjustments as you need to. Officially, you cannot play a +2 on another +2 in Uno. Officially. But does anyone do that? Not really. It makes the game simpler, yes. But also less fun. Hmm. I could use some whaling ships there. I could use more fishing. Eh. Eh. There. So, steampunk's in, and I've built the Eiffel Tower and the Golden Gate Bridge, so those are out of the way. Yep, I've got free broadcast towers and large steel arch bridges in every city that can handle those, which for the broadcast towers, all of them. For the others, not so much. 2 sessions at the most. And the least. So, guaranteed 2 sessions, I'll hit atomic. Yep, advanced to atomic era. Industrialism is probably the thing I'll go for, just for even more production. Because it reveals new ores, and then I can build mines in a few cities, and all that. Oh yes, I believe Scientology is the last of the religions. I'm not 100% sure why it's here. Although, admittedly, I think I wouldn't have heard much of it without. Well, okay, I would have heard of it eventually, but I think C2C was the first time I actually heard of it. Which is undoubtedly probably a good thing. I mean, I find the intricacies of different religions fascinating, but Scientology is. Yeah. Yeah. Either way, we're finishing up with this, so yeah. No, that's not all of the classical religions through yet. Hellenism is still there. Wow. Which is fascinating because I know. Okay, you're researching windmills. Windmills is medieval. I remember you researching compass though. Yeah. Where's windmills? Down here? Up here. Over here? Why'd you beeline for compass? I'm not gonna question it. And yeah. My finances might need fixing at some point. Yeah, perhaps at some point. I'm gonna have to look into it. Building some buildings and wonders that can give me cash. Eh, it's not too important. I've got a massive treasury of 3 million? Yeah, more than. Yeah, that's 7 digits. Okay. I wanted a picture on that because if it were 300,000, that would be a problem. Because then I'd have about 400 turns to fix it, which then again isn't actually that big of a deal now that I say that out loud. Uh, Either way. Um, the capital is working on another, pioneer, so probably plop you down somewhere around here-ish. then continue working on filling up the boot of Neonesia. And maybe this interior portion, now that I've connected up these. And then head for these northern spots again until I can't anymore. After a certain point, it will actually become more efficient in distance to start from this side of the continent and not that side of the continent of Mononesia, so... Though by that point I might start conquering these cities too. Yeah. Including Hati's last city. I do want to have... Yeah, I definitely don't want to leave anyone behind. By atomic-ish? Not atomic-ish. Maybe. I mean, I'm gonna get tanks and atomics, so that's gonna be fun. Because tanks start with blitz. Yeah. Atomic is something of a misnomer because it really starts with the late industrial era. Like, you know, theory of relativity is here. Which is before, well, at least special relativity is, I think, before quantum mechanics even was thought up of in the first place. When was the photoelectric effect explained by Einstein using photons? Might have been 1904. Still. It took time to go from I use this neat trick of quantizing light into particles in order to explain this effect better to energy states are quantized physically, and this quantization is physically real. Which is the basis of quantum mechanics and atomic theory. And we did know about atomic nuclei earlier, didn't we? At least the very concept of atoms. Then again, the concept of atoms as per se, just in general, is very old. I'm getting ahead of myself. I can talk about this stuff later. Yeah, next time, if I remember, the topic will be about the odd version of politics and culture. At least what I feel is odd. Anyway, I'll see you again next time. Until then.